One of the most popular statements we make at the Smart Chiropractor is that your patient email list is your most valuable asset. And the way we know that is because if you were going to go buy a practice, you would ask yourself that simple question. If you went to go buy a practice that's been open for a period of time, the first question you would ask is, how many people are there that I have the potential to reach to bring back into my practice if I were to buy this practice? That's what you're buying, okay? You wouldn't buy a practice that was open for 15 minutes for any high value. I mean, maybe you'd go, okay, I'll give you the equipment price, I'll give you the lease, and I'll give you a few bucks for the effort to put. But if you want value in your practice, it's for exactly this number one value. Look at all the years I've been in practice. Look at all the people I've taken care of over those years. If you buy my practice, you could be reaching all of them. That's the mindset of buying a practice, and that's how you really determine the value. Part of it is based on last year's revenue, but if last year's revenue was $500,000 and you were in practice 1 year versus last year was $500,000 and you've been in practice for 20 years, that's a different business. And so the message for chiropractors is to start paying attention to the most important, we've called them MVPs. They're your most valuable people, most valuable patients, most profitable people, most profitable patients. And 100% of chiropractors are ignoring them if they're not our clients. And that's pure craziness, because it is the most valuable, easiest place, if you were buying a practice, if you're selling a practice, to be able to say, here's the thousands of people that we communicate with weekly, and we have demonstrated that by communicating with them weekly, here is what you can consistently count on as a reactivation measure to reach your net momentum, to decrease the stress of needing new ones, so that on autopilot, patient pilot on autopilot, people just keep on coming back. Why? Because they're going to leave. Not everybody stays. That's just human nature and how it works. If they're going to leave, you need systems to get them back. And so that's really the opportunity, is chiropractors not going, oh, I don't like email. Oh, somebody sent me an email once and I got so upset and I wouldn't do that to anybody else. Okay, you're not running a business. It's just not the way it is. If you're not paying attention to the fact that you have hundreds, if not thousands, of past clients that you're probably ignoring. If you're not ignoring them, you're probably not communicating with them in the most effective ways. You probably don't have a track record of being able to prove, show, demonstrate that your people like you. You have a good, valuable business. If you want to be prideful because you go, oh yeah, I don't communicate with any of them. They never come back. I only focus on great marketing. I spend a lot of money to get new people in my practice. I'd say you sound nuts if you're running a business. That's just pure insanity. So we're living in an insane world. It's understandable. Most people are living in that kind of world. The hypocrisy is that we look at other people that think that the fastest way to solve your health problem is a drug, is no different than the thinking that the fastest way to solve your practice problem is more new patients. It is a temporary relief of symptoms on an unsustainable basis. Drugs don't heal anything, and new patients that you don't keep in touch with is just putting more water into a bucket with a big or slightly smaller hole than the top. And until more chiropractors pause and say, that is brain damage when it comes to business, then I've got to now focus on both being a great healer and a smart business person. And that's not an insult. That's actually something to be prideful for, that you now figure out, how do I do this in the most elegant, simple way possible? That business is not something you need to be intimidated by. It's not something that's all about the money and it's bad and you shouldn't focus on it. And if you don't talk about the money, you're a good person. But if you do talk about the money, you're a bad person. We got to get over all that stuff and realize that money is energy. It's an exchange of value. And the more of it you have is a more representative of the value you've offered to other people. And unfortunately, and I've known this for many years, we get out of balance when we're providing value, but we're not receiving anything close to the value we're putting out there. That creates resentment, that creates frustration, that creates burnout, that creates, shouldn't I be doing something else with my life? How can I be giving so much and still suffering so much? And that's a problem. I think most chiropractors, when we go to these events, many of them smell of desperation. How do I figure out how to do this in a way that I don't have to constantly be the one who's more stressed than the people coming to see me? And so that's really what our messaging is about. That's what the technologies we build are about. That's what these podcasts and blogs and courses and webinars are all about, is how to wake chiropractors up to being great at business and healing, and understanding the essence of both of them. And there's just too much confusion. There's too many business people that aren't great at healing. There's too many healers that aren't great at business. And there's too many people that aren't good at either. And you've got to get good at both in order to be able to master them. If you want to make your practice easier, more profitable, more fun, and experience more freedom, then check out Patient Pilot's weekly reactivation emails to pilot more of your past patients back into your practice. Check them out at thesmartchiropractor.com.